Nick Everington, Chief Executive of the RABDF, which organises the dairy event and livestock show, which this year has moved to the NEC at Birmingham for the first time. So Nick, why the move?
The reason we moved is we'd run out of undercover space at our previous location, and we wanted to expand the event, and we had no prospects of being able to get extra space. We looked at the NEC, we weighed up the advantages of the logistics and the extra space we could get here, and it was a foregone conclusion we would move.
Very impressive. It's well set out. It's certainly easier to get to for us, and so far really impressed.
What have you seen so far?
We've just been through the milking hall. Quick look in there because we were here quite early, and then we've just been around the machines down here.
I think it's spacious, easy parking, or I found it easy parking this morning. It looks good, but I haven't looked at everything at the moment. It seems the main people are still here, so I think it'll be good. What I'm looking at now is planning for calf housing and possible renovation of the existing buildings to try and expand the herd, basically.
The move, I believe, is a good thing from a number of points of view. One is farmers have a limited amount of time to get away from the farm, and if we can reduce the travel time, it means in effect most of them can get there and back in a day, and that saves on replacement herding costs. So from a logistics point of view, it's an extremely good move. Putting all the stands, the undercover stands, in one area also means that farmers can get round a lot easier. And we've zoned the whole of the inside stands. It's all colour coded. So again, it helps people identify where particular stands are. It means they spend less time trying to find stands, and it maximises their time at the event.
And how many people are you hoping for at the event?
We had 14,500 last year, an increase of 12%, and I'd be very happy if we can get a similar amount this year, if not a slight increase, because with the improved communications, we're expecting more people from Northern Ireland. They can fly from Belfast, for example, from Dublin, and also from a number of Scottish airports, Edinburgh, Glasgow, etc.
And what do you think are going to be the big discussion points at the event this year?
Big discussion points will be feed prices. We've got wheat prices climbing, which have a major impact on costs, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of pressure on the processors to get the milk price up. We continue to have problems with bovine TB, and one of the speakers in this year's Farm Health Planning Seminars is Christiane Glossop, the Chief Vet for Wales, and we all know who's trying to take a stand on this, and she'll be speaking about biosecurity, which I think is very pertinent.
What I'm trying to do is to help people understand that biosecurity is not just a word, it's actually a protocol for minimising the risk of introducing infection onto a herd. It's not an all or nothing process, it's about putting a series of hurdles in the way of pathogens arriving within a cattle population. And we have to recognise that because all farms are different, the biosecurity protocol for each farm will be different, but it needs to be developed between the farmer and his vet, taking account of all the risk factors that are presented to that particular operation.
It's certain that this is going to be an expensive winter for farmers. Feed prices have risen. Looking at additional costs estimated by most of the consultants at an additional 2p per litre, could be even a little higher. The take on the milk price, the consensus is that milk prices will rise. Most people on the liquid side will wait until Tesco announce their milk price increase. It's expected to be somewhere between 1 to 2p, anything less, and that's going to be a real winter of discontent. So that's about the sum total of it. The cheese people, they've been gradually increasing their price over the months, and they've been doing quite well on the cheese side. It's the liquid one that everyone's looking towards now.
Because Tesco is the one that tends to set the price, really, or sort of lead the price in terms of what happens, and everybody looks at that as a lead for what they would like to happen. But it doesn't always happen that way, does it?
I don't think Tesco would like to think of themselves as the people that lead the price and set the price, but the reality is that you're quite right, Emma, that they do. Everyone looks to Tesco as the barometer because they've got this formula that takes into account the market realities and the cost of production. So if Tesco go up 1.5p or 2p, you can bet your bottom dollar that a number of others are going to follow suit. And that's how it happens, but that's predominantly on the liquid side.
Okay. One of the other big issues today at the dairy event has been a lot of discussion about the Arla's recent announcement that they're looking for 4 pence per litre from their farmer members over the next 4 years?
8 years.
To try and fund progression in their business. There's quite a lot of picking up quite a few negative vibes about this today. What's your view on it?
Well, it's around £70 million that Arla are proposing to take from their farmers, as you say, over 8 years, half a pence a litre a year. So for a 1 million litre producer, that's an additional £40,000 on top of the 10 that he already has in there. So he's got £50,000 invested in Arla, on which he isn't going to receive a return. So there's little wonder that the farmers on the current milk price, facing the winter that they face, are agitated and concerned about this, because their feeling is that they've got their own businesses to run and they'd like to put that £40,000 into their business. So yes, there have been some negative comments. It has been quite heated. There's been a little bit of heckling, and I've no doubt that the Arla Farms Milk Partnership, with their series of meetings in the next month, are going to be dipping their toe in the water and testing the temperature.
And anything else going on that we need to know about?
Well, no, there's lots of things that they're talking about. I mean, it's been a great move from Stoneleigh to the NEC. It's really lifted the image of dairy farming and the event, and I think it's the right image that they've got. There's a little bit of talk about cloning, but it's a bit of a non-event. There's talk about large dairies, which are on the radar, but generally it's down to looking forward to the future and whether the milk price is going to increase sufficiently to cover those increased costs.